And we're back, Stripe Show podcast on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. I'm still counting my cash from last week. Finally, a big week. JT getting to the winner's circle for us. Fairly fortunate. I think we have to say Mito opened the door for him, but he walked in. PGA Championship, great finish there. That was fun to watch, but the 5 top 10s was nice as well. Cameron Young getting there for us. Max Homa getting there for us. So a good week. You got to have those weeks because God knows it's difficult betting on golf. You think it's hard to win on the PGA Tour? It's even more impossible to pick a winner on the PGA Tour. And to help us this week, my man at Golf Digest, Christopher Powers. How you doing, bud?
Very good. That's funny. I've always said the only thing harder to do than win a PGA Tour event is to hit an outright winner in the PGA.
You know, it's funny. Like you're going to have good streaks. You're going to have bad streaks. I'm certainly not like an expert at this, from a gambling standpoint. Thank God, because I don't think I could live my life going through like that, but we do okay, the way we handicap it and go about it with the data that's available to us. And it's fun. I like coming at it from this angle. It's different. My background in teaching and doing some TV, this is a completely different angle, to come at it from a handicapping standpoint and really looking at the statistics, the course breakdowns, who's a good fit and those kinds of things. So it's been fun to kind of evolve Tuesday into this kind of discussion. Yeah, so before we get started with the Charles Schwab down there in Colonial, Fort Worth, Texas, place I've played a couple times. Love that city, Fort Worth. We'll get to that. But I got to ask you, what were your thoughts? 72nd hole, Mito hits driver. You okay with that?
Yeah, when you only have the 1-stroke lead, I know they were talking earlier in the week. They all kind of wanted a 2-stroke lead on 72nd tee because that's such a hard hole to par up the hill there. So I really thought he won the tournament when he hit driver on 17 and cleared the creek and obviously didn't get up and down. But even without that, I thought he really showed some guts to hit driver and clear the creek and had to be feeling good about his driver swing after that swing. So I'm okay with it, but obviously it didn't work out for him.
Yeah, I was too. I was fine with him hitting driver. He's a good driver of the ball. I was more surprised he hit driver on 17, considering he laid up a couple times. But I really thought the shot that kind of cost him was not getting it up and down on 17. Yep. I said yesterday, he gets that ball up and down 8-9 times out of 10 in his sleep. Vanilla chip up the hill, plenty of green to work with, kind of flubbed it. And then he almost still made the putt. But a 2-shot lead coming up, he's hitting 4 and off the tee, off he goes. So, yeah, it's a tough watch, when you get into those situations. These guys are ready to play when they come out on the PGA Tour, but the learning curve, Chris, is still there in major championships. You can't, I think, move that process along because you have to put yourself in the moment. And I think it hit him on 17 a little bit. So, he'll be back. He'll get in the situation again. He's too good of a ball striker not to. Now, whether he's there in a major championship, we'll see. But in a PGA Tour event, I think we'll see Mito back. He's in the field this week, as is Justin Thomas this week. Nice field in Colonial. And, now we go a little different here. We had a big golf course last week at Southern, guys wearing their 3 and 4 irons out. And now we go to Colonial, which is just above 7,000 typically. They can go a little longer than that. But it is another par 70. And back here with bent grass, Bermuda rough. I've played this place a couple times. And when I think of Colonial, I think of, okay, I've got to get the ball in play off the tee. Like it's kind of tight off the fairways. There's a lot of dog legs. They kind of force your hand for everyone to kind of hit it in a similar position. You're not going to overpower this place. The rough is kind of that gnarly. It's not real long, but it's kind of that rough that just kind of gets tangled and you can get some jumpers out of this. Although it's wet, it's raining there today. So it's going to be a wet Bermuda. So that's going to play into it. And then the greens are smallish, not as taxing around the greens as we saw last week. You needed a short game last week. You don't need as much this week. Jason Kokrak winning kind of speaks to that. And then I think some experience on these greens tend to help as well. So that's kind of my thoughts as you look ahead. What kind of player are you leaning towards here at a place like Colonial?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Obviously, approach play is huge. All these courses are second shot golf courses. But like you said, the tight driving corridors, I saw somebody tweet, I think the last 3 or 4 winners there have hit 53 greens in regulation each. Obviously, greens in regulation are huge, but the only way to hit them is if you get the ball in the fairway. So driving accuracy, I think, is pretty key this week. So I'm looking at guys who can hit the fairway, maybe some shorter hitters. That's why Kevin Na has success here. But yeah, you got to. I know Spieth has some success here too, and he's not the most accurate driver of the golf ball, but he can kind of escape and work his way on these greens. So, but I'm still looking at driving accuracy, guys who can hit the fairway and then attack from there.
Yeah, Kisner won in 17. He certainly fits that model. You mentioned Na in 19, Berger won in 20. But then you have a couple big hitters in like Rose, who, he busted out there. He won in 18. And then Kokrak is, sneaky long.
Yeah.
In 2021. Hogan's Alley is here. Fun little stretch, 3, 4, and 5. You don't see many 3-hole difficult stretches that you brand. That's right there at the holes 3, 4, and 5.
Early on.
Yeah, number 3 is a dogleg left par 4, 483 yards. And then the 4th hole is a long par 3, 247. And then the 5th hole is just kind of awkward. It's 481, very intimidating, a lot of trouble on the right, very narrow green. It's the number 1 handicap hole. And, Colonial, when you think about it, the 2 easiest holes in the course are 1 and 2. So you can get off to 2 under through 2, but then you hit Hogan's Alley right there at 3, 4, 5. So you're kind of looking to get through 1, 2. If you can get through those 1 or 2 under, then kind of off you go, because you've got a couple birdie holes coming in. Guys will birdie 16, the par 3, and then 17 and 18 are really not that difficult. So it's a little different from that standpoint in the way that, the difficult holes, oftentimes you'll see a better finish, right? But in Colonial, you go birdie, and then it's like, pow, 3, 4, 5. And then, okay, you get up from that, and then, you kind of work yourself through, and then you can get some birdies coming in. So it'll be interesting to see. The weather's going to pass through. I don't think it's going to rain after today, so you'll see your typical warmer weathers. All right, let's open things up here. Let's get some winners again. Let's go another good week. Good field. JT's there, 8-1. Scheffler, Texas, 10-1. Spieth, Texas, 12-1. Morikawa, wake up that putter, 12-1. Yeah. Willie Z, probably going to have to drive a little straighter this week at 20-1. And let us take it down to Hovland, 20-1. Take me to your favorite here this week.
Man, I don't have any favorites in this section, but for the sake of it, I guess I would go with Spieth, because he's been playing well at these courses, that he thrives at, like Harbor Town and obviously Craig Ranch. Everybody played well, and I thought he'd play well at Southern Hills. He kind of struggled with the putter, which has kind of let him down this year, which is obviously quite shocking, but really good history at Colonial, riding a little bit of a heater. I was hoping to continue that heater. He was my pick at Southern Hills, but like I said, couldn't get many putts to fall. Actually hit the ball pretty well. He has been hitting the ball well, very well recently. So if I had to pick out of that group, I guess it would be Spieth. Back to Spieth.
Yeah, Spieth second last year, 10th in 2020, 8th in 19, second in 7. I mean, he's and no one's played this course better than Jordan Spieth. The last 5 years. Justin Rose is second in the last 5 years. We'll get into Kevin Na here in the next wave, who's played well here. But yeah, Spieth in Texas will be difficult. If the putter wakes up, he will be a handful to deal with. It's interesting to say with Spieth right now, considering the last 3 years, or really just considering his career, that his weakness right now is his putter. The driver and the irons are back, but he's just a little bit flustered with his putter, and you can see it. Certainly playing out last week. A lot of frustration there. Look, no one's going to be surprised to see if JT comes out and if he has enough energy to keep things going and win again at 8-1. We know Scheffler will probably be there in the first couple pages of the leaderboard with a chance to win. I think if there's a course that is built for Morikawa, this has to be the place, isn't it? Second shot golf course, let your irons go to work.
Accurate driver of the ball, obviously.
Accurate, vanilla short game kind of stuff. And we know with Morikawa, look, I know he hasn't been putting that great. But when you look at his wins, like coming in, he's never putting that great, and all of a sudden he goes +6, +5. And it wakes up and he wins. So sign me up. I'm saying this is the week. I'm going Morikawa. That's my low odd at 12-1. And you've got Spieth at 12. I'll go Morikawa at 12. Surprising last week was Zalatoris. Like Zalatoris, he didn't drive the ball very well at all. He was in the rough all day, every day for the most part, it felt like. And he was able to play out of the rough and still obviously play extremely well. I mean, his iron game speaks for itself. And a lot of people speak to a couple of the short misses with Will. I stated yesterday, I think Will walks out of there. I know he lost in a playoff, but I think Will has to feel as good about his putting walking out of that tournament as he ever has. The best I've ever seen him putt.
100%. I think obviously the perception is he's terrible because the short ones are on TV. They're on Sunday. Everyone's watching. All the casual fans are watching on the weekend. But he had a great putting week. I was unbelievably impressed. Like you said, he was kind of all over the place. Even with his irons, he had a couple squirrely ones early on. But yeah, the putter kind of kept him in it all of Sunday, and then, escaping short game. So very impressive for it to hold up on a major championship Sunday would indicate that he's made some really big improvements with the putter. So I would say, everyone said this, but a win's obviously not too far away for Zalatoris.
Yeah, the chips are going to fall for him here. They have to, especially if he's turned the corner to some degree with his putting. And it's as good as I've ever seen him over the ball. Yes, he had a couple of the herky-jerkies. I'm not sure that's going to go away anytime soon. You just hope it doesn't turn into the yippish and at impact, So the struggle with him is more taking it away, getting it started. And if that's the case, that's certainly better than him with it exploding in his hands when he goes to hit it. So Will back in Texas. People forget, I know he played at Wake, but forget, Will is from Texas. So he'll be ready to go in this field up top. All right, let's keep going. There's Vic at 20. I played Vic this week. I think, again, vanilla around the greens.
Yeah,
I think that plays into Vic's hand. And I just kind of waiting on Vic here for a big week to come out and put a field like this away. Isn't that the next step for him?
Yes, it is. I know our friend Jeff Feinberg loves to always say that he bets Victor Hovland by a field goal at a lot of these events. And he's got that kind of game, got that kind of talent. Like you said, vanilla short game. He can kind of tee to green his way to a win here pretty easily, pretty soon. So definitely don't hate that. He played okay last week.
No, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did play. You got Puerto Rico as a win. You got OHL as a win. And you got Mayakoba as a win. All right. Every win on the PGA Tour is big. But the next step for Vic is a field like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that. It's in his head. So, all right. I think it's, Victor Hovland. To me, I look at this, 41st at the PGA. Yeah, the putter was a little off. He was 27th at the Masters. Is it just me, or does it feel like we don't see these guys very often anymore? Like, where the hell is everybody? Like
you can't fade for too long. Otherwise, people forget about you pretty quickly. It's all Cam Young and Will Zalatoris right now.
The last two events Victor Hovland have played, it's the Masters and the PGA.
Yeah.
So
I was not aware of that either. Yeah.
He's played He played Valspar. He played the Players. All right. So 3 of his last 4 tournaments are 3 of the biggest events of the year. He hadn't played. I mean, he played Valspar in between the Players and then the Masters and the PGA. All right, Vic, let's get out there and play a little bit. All right. Let's get out and play some golf.
Yeah. Month off in between Masters PGA. Didn't even realize.
I'm going to go with Vic this week. Yeah, I'm going to go with Vic, right? I'm going to go with Vic this week. I got Morikawa at 12, Vic at 20. You got to like the way Homa's playing. He finally competed in a major championship, top 20.
Yeah,
I felt like
I'm jealous of that because I tried to jump that gun at Augusta, thinking, all right, he was playing so well. Obviously, he still is, and hadn't shown it in a major yet. So I was trying to get a little cute there, and then I hopped off the train at Southern Hills, unfortunately. So that was a nice play by you.
Yeah, he was 80-1 to win.
Mm-hmm.
So I played him to win and top 20, and it was a nice showing for him. It feels like Max Homa's starting now to elevate to the next level. Clearly 4 wins. I mean, he's fully capable of winning on the PGA Tour, but he hadn't competed at majors. So that was a big step for him. Burns was another top 20 for me last week. He's an automatic bet for me. I love Sam Burns. He's at 30. Horschel's at 35. Nah, 35. Kokrak, defending champion, at 35. Gooch seems to be getting a little discussion at 35. And then there's Sungjae, who didn't play last week. He's in the field, 35. Berger, former champ, 35. I'm a little concerned. I'll start here. I'm a little concerned with Daniel Berger. His ball striking seems to be going a little bit the wrong way right now. I'm not going to play him this week. In fact, in this group, I already talked about Hovland. I mean, look, I'll probably at the end of the day sprinkle some on Burns, as I always do. But I think I'm going to pass on the rest as far as win, although I'll play on a top 20.
Yeah, I agree with you on Berger. I was on Berger last week. I found a really nice number and wildly disappointing week. I thought he kind of bounced back at Harbortown with some solid approach numbers. I think he gained 6 strokes on approach. And I figured the around the green stuff everyone talked about last week would sort of play right into Berger's hands. That's kind of his specialty, especially out of the sand. He did okay around the greens last week. He really putted poorly and hit the ball terribly with his irons. So, yeah, I agree with you there. And I don't know. You haven't set him yet. And I don't know if I'm going to bet him because he seems like a very popular play. But if we're going with that driving accuracy theory, Abraham Answer is, 3rd most accurate driver on tour statistically right now. Played really well, obviously, last week. So I don't know. Answer. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's a good bet in the middle here. I think that's probably the name that I would stretch down to answer. I'm kind of stuck on Webb a little bit. I really like what I saw from Webb. And if I had to pick between Webb and Abe, I think Webb's obviously the better player if all systems are a go. And I've played Webb at 40. I haven't played Abraham. I texted Desori, his caddy. Now, hold on a minute. He just texted me back. Breaking news. So I texted Paul, right, who lives here and is a phenomenal player, by the way. Mm-hmm. Paul Tesori shoots 68 in his sleep. Sick. I said, Paul, great week last week. Really cool to see Webb back playing well again. And he said, thanks, buddy. He's back. Ooh. It's been a long, hard road the last 2 years, but he's back. Let's go. Webb Simpson, 40-1. Sign me up. This is where the heater starts, folks, right here. This is the inside information.
This is what I've been waiting for this whole podcast. I'm on Webb. He was the first name that jumped off the page for me, 40-1. I think he's 45-1 on Caesars. I might have to make a deposit on Caesars Sportsbook. I've bet him a couple times recently at some good numbers and kind of been disappointed, but I think I definitely underestimated, that injury. He took a lot of time off between Sony and the Players. Said he felt good at the Players, but, he still needs some tournament reps here. And he's gotten that these last 5 or 6 weeks, middling finishes, but making cuts. And that Saturday round was Ken Dukian at the Players a bunch of years ago. That Saturday round Webb played at Southern Hills. So I think he's definitely gotten that groove again. Obviously a good finish, 20th last week, gained a bunch tee to green. Approach play was good. He putted well. It still might, I think it still might be too soon. I'd like to see him get back. I'm betting it. And I love it top 20. I think top 20 is probably the play with him.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him get back into contention again, but yeah, I can't resist this number, especially at Colonial. He's got a 5th and a 3rd here since 2016. So decent course history. Played well last week. It's all kind of coming together to maybe hit a nice juicy 45-1 winner.
Yeah, boy. Just looking at him statistically, I could sense, okay, he looks like he's coming back. He's on the right way. So that's good news. I like, and this is a good spot for Webb. And it feels like a first round leader, Webb Simpson at 64, folks, could be right around the corner here.
I like that.
Finau's at 40. He's had some success here. Fleetwood, nice week last week, 40-1. HV3, 40-1. Tringale, 50. What are we gonna do with Mito, my boy Mito? You know, look, I at the start of the year, Chris, I said Mito and Cam Young are the two guys coming off the Korn Ferry Tour that remind me the most of Sam Burns. You know, they're long enough. You know, Cam's longer, but they got enough distance, but they're really good iron players, and they're going to have good putting weeks. And that's kind of, that's the modern game, right? Like, you can look past a little clunky short game. Cam struggles out of the bunkers. But like, okay, I'm long enough. I'm a great iron player. I'm going to have good putting weeks. I'm not surprised these two are having the success that they are, but there's got to be a little scar tissue, don't you think, with Mito coming off last week? He's got to be a little bit fatigued.
Absolutely. This feels like he's +4 through 10 and kind of just fades away this week. So I wouldn't go near him. And he's been such a statistical darling in this gambling community that I felt bad because, that felt like a nice coronation for everybody who's been betting him kind of every time he tees it up this year. So I do think he'll be back. I will not be on him this week though.
Yeah, me too. I kind of passed through there. I bet Webb. And, Answer, I'm going to look at a little bit more, too. I think he makes some really valid points on Abraham Answer. And that had to feel good last week to see the ball going in the hole.
Yeah.
To make some putts. Because he's certainly been struggling with the putter. We keep going. Troy Merritt, 50. I think Woodland's intriguing to me at 50. I've already played him as a top 20. And I like Davis Riley, too. I really... I'm kind of a swing homer, so I don't like to get too caught up in playing golf swing. But my God, folks, if you ever go to a tournament and Davis Riley's hitting, just sit there and watch, okay? Because that is one damn good golf swing.
And it feels another one I wrote down here. It feels like kind of foolish to miss out on this heater he's on right now. I mean, what do we got here? 2nd, 5th, 9th, 13th, and 4 of his last 6 starts.
Heavy stuff.
Obviously, this past week. Yeah, I don't. I haven't been on him at any of those events, so I'll get on him this week, and I'll probably be late to the party. But it just feels kind of foolish to keep missing out on these strong finishes.
It was his best ball striking of his PGA Tour career last week, off the tee and approach. So he absolutely blitzed it. The reality is, if his short game was a little bit better, he probably would have been there with a chance to win. If he hits it like this week, he will be there.
Said, maybe, short game not as important this week, so maybe he can mask that with some really good approach play.
So are you going to bet Riley or Kirk? Because Kirk's 50-1, and I've already played Chris Kirk top 20.
So Kirk was another one I wrote down here. I'll probably play both.
Okay.
I'll probably go Webb, Riley, Kirk. I was on Kirk the whole Florida swing. Last time I was on your podcast, I mentioned him. That might have been Bay Hill. He had such a nice Florida swing. Couldn't get the putts to fall when he needed them, unfortunately. Went all the way through the Players with him, and he missed the cut, which the weather was whatever that week. And then I kind of hopped off the train. But I think you got to get back in now. I think everyone's going to be on it. It feels a little too easy. This was the site of his most recent PGA Tour win back when he was kind of a prolific winner in 2015. He picked up his 4th win here. So it feels a little simple that he would have his comeback victory here, but I'm like Davis Riley, I'm not going to miss out on the potential Chris Kirk coronation. And he's just so consistent tee to green. You look at his stats, you pull up Fantasy National, it's just green on green on green in pretty much every category but putting. And this week they're back on bent grass. He putted okay last week, so maybe this is the week the putts fall for Chris Kirk.
I think people forget how good of a player Chris Kirk was. You know, I mean,
President's Cup team, really
Yep.
good in the mix at those FedEx Cup. I remember watching those FedEx Cup events. He was in the mix in every single one of them.
The dude is just solid.
Yep.
I mean, like you said, tee to green. He's unbelievable. He hits this little draw. I mean, he just put you to sleep. He just puts you to sleep. Just like Zach Johnson.
Yep.
Starts like 3 yards this way and just draws 2, never crosses the line. Every single club in his bag. I'm pretty damn sure he draws his putter too.
The only shot that didn't draw was that one at the Honda on the par 3. I remember.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Man, he played good last week.
He did really good. I was happy for him. That was a nice.
Yeah, me too.
A really nice finish in a big event.
Hey, plus 200. Not that simple. Top 20. I'm not going to play him to win. But maybe I should. Munoz 60. Bezadenhut 60. I'm kind of drawn to Harmon. He's had a lot of success here at 65.
A ton of success. I wrote him down for top 20, absolutely. But he's not to be cliche, Georgia, but he is a bulldog, so I would not be surprised if he gets into contention here. And like you said, I mean, he's made 8 straight cuts here, and 4 of those have been in the top 15. So going to be hard to lay off Harmon this week.
Yeah, it's horses for courses, folks. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you just show up to places and you feel comfortable. It's like, man, I feel comfortable here. You know, the sight lines, the way that people are talking to me, this and that, you know. And Harmon was 34th last week. Didn't drive the ball that well, but he had been driving it very well up to that point. So a little surprising. Great iron week. Nice short game. Let me tell you something. Harmon's got a short game now. I mean, he's not surprised to see him finish 34th last week. So, yeah, he's thinking about making some money this week. I just can't play Justin Rose. I don't know. I love Justin Rose, the person, but I'm just like, I may not never make another bet on him again.
Yeah, there's too much Jekyll and Hyde with him, I feel like, too.
65 to 1.
If you weren't on him last week, I wouldn't try and, strike this week, even though he has played well here, like you said.
And there's 3 names coming up here that I think are very interesting. Okay, McNeely, which we know is kind of an up-and-comer at 70. Hoagie, I think, has to feel pretty good here at 70. And then Ryan Palmer, this is his home course at 70. So these are 3 guys at 70 that I think you could make a case for pretty easily as well. I'm tending to lean probably a little towards Hoagie of the 3. Where would you go?
I would agree with that. I marked down McNeely, but then I looked. I don't know if he can drive it accurate enough to win here. And it feels like he's still like a rookie out here, but he's played here 3 times. He's made the cut every time. So maybe a placement bet on Mav. The small greens thing kind of does play into his hands, but I don't know. He's a little wild off the tee, so I would stay away from Mav, who I've been on a bunch this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Hoagie seems like super consistent.
He does. Nice iron player. Really a nice iron player. Decent around the greens. He holds his head above water around the greens, and he's on a little bit of a heater right now. This putter, his putter's warmed up. 17th at the AT&T, 9th at the PGA. Hoagie plus 250 right now, top 20. I'll probably go 70 to 1. I'll probably go there as a mid-range. KH Lee 80, Kisner's 1 at 80.
Yeah.
Fowler's at 100, and here you got a chance to get Bryson DeChambeau at 100. You in?
Is he gonna play?
He's in there. He hadn't withdrawn yet.
He's in there for now. I don't know. Not ready. Not for me.
All right, so special announcement here. Tomorrow, Tim Tucker joins the pod, who was Bryson's caddy for a long, long time. And Tim is caddying this week for Adam Svensson.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's there. I talked to him this morning. And he's there. So he's going to join the pond tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that one. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. His time with Bryson. But then also, look, Tim is like one of the smartest caddies probably of all time. The dude's a deep thinker. Obviously, if you caddy for Bryson, you've got to be have this in, you got to be pushing the envelope. And he's a wonderful greens reader. And he's actually developed this coin on how to read a green. It's fascinating. I've seen it. It's fascinating. He's going to share it with us tomorrow. It's not even on the market yet. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's good. It makes a ton of sense. So he'll be on tomorrow. So more on that. That just triggered my mind when we were talking Bryson there at 100. Yeah, I'm going to pass. Patrick Reed, 100, pass. Adam Long, take me to somewhere now 100 plus as we start getting into the names of Poulter, EVR. I mean, come on. CT Pond's got to like it here. There's not many at 7,000. I mean, he's got a chance here.
Yep. I am pretty interested in Lucas Glover a little bit down the board here. He's 150 to 1. I like the CT Pan. CT Pan always kind of pops at a course like this. But yeah, I'm interested in Glover. He played pretty well here last year. I think 8th, played well at the PGA. Obviously an elite ball striker, so second shot course. This seems to fit the mold. And then another guy way down for top 20, who's a very accurate driver, has some good finishes here, is Kevin Streelman's down here at 200 to 1. He made the cut at the PGA, played okay. I think he finished 41st. But yeah, he's 6th in driving accuracy on tour. Couple top 20s at Colonial. So Glover and Streelman for me, I think, are going to get some top 20 action.
All right. I'm playing Stuart Sink, 130 to 1.
That's a good one. That's probably going to be added to my card as well.
So people be warned, Stuart Sink's warming up. He's warming up. 9th at the Wells Fargo, 23rd at PGA.
Cold stretch for a while there after the Harbortown win, but yeah, I think heating back up for sure. Feeling good.
He won at RBC.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar. I mean,
yep. Definitely a correlation with here in Harbortown.
And Stewie ain't afraid. He'd be like, get me in there, the young guys here at this place, right?
Yeah.
Get me in there, mix up with these young guys. Man, he's on a heater with his irons. Last four, 5. Well, he missed the cut at the Masters, so everyone just look past that one. All right. So we're going to, outside of that, his irons have been really good. Drove the ball beautifully last week.
Mm-hmm.
Made some 130. Sink has just hit the board.
Love it. Played well at Valspar too. I'm in.
Yeah. He's heating up.
Yeah.
He's heating up. My favorite quote of all time last year. Hey, Stuart, you're hitting the ball longer off the tee. What's going on? Hey, do you drink coffee?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. I'm addicted.
Right, okay, here you go. Hold on a second. So check this out. So I'm going to send you some coffee. All right.
Yes.
So this is Haymaker. Okay, let me get it in here. Haymaker's a Jacksonville company. This is the heavyweight, the dark roast.
I love it.
And then this is the middleweight. Okay, that's the medium roast. This coffee is fantastic. I'm telling you. Local. Are you dark or medium?
I'm dark, but I'll have any. But I'm down for the dark. Love it.
Haymaker coffee. Send it to you. Try it out. You'll love it. Phenomenal. All right. Anyway, what was I talking? Oh, Stuart, right? So so they're like, hey, Stu, you're hitting the ball longer off the tee. What are you doing? You'll appreciate this because you're an instruction guy. And he says, you know what? He goes, it's crazy. I'm just tilting my spine a little bit more to the right, getting my head behind the ball. It's like, really, dude? That was this thing. Like, I'm just tilting a little bit more. Now I'm hitting up on it and I'm getting another 8.
That's all he's doing.
That's it. It's like, that's like, okay. Get behind it a little bit more. Get the attack angle just a little bit more up. Like, yeah, we discovered that like 15 years ago. And he's hitting it longer off the tee. So here he is. Stu Sink played well last week. I love Stu Sink. Every time you see Stuart Sink, like brings a smile to your face.
It does.
He's just good vibes. There's Sig, 130. McCarthy, 130. God, I feel like Denny McCarthy's going to win at some point.
You would think, because the irons have come around this year for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's obviously, when he's on, I think the best putter on the planet, at least
Absolutely.
statistically. So you would think if those two things match up, he will be there for sure.
Yeah, it just feels like off the tee here is gonna.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like he can do
scared
enough.
of Mav, scared of guys like Denny.
Man, we're working our way down, folks. Stay with us here. We're just kind of cruising down. Cameron Davis, 150. Brendan Todd. This would be a great setup for Brendan Todd, but he's just not playing great.
No.
Patton Kazire just crying to the media last week about the course. Come on, Patton.
That was tough.
How do you win major championships with that attitude? You can't.
Do it. Yeah, I'm worried about our boy Hatton winning a major. I don't know. That doesn't.
Right.
Attitude doesn't seem conducive.
No. That's the reality, right? Like, look, I get it. Okay, it's not my favorite to watch 3 par 3s where you're busting 3-wood into it, or like, I get it. But if you're a player and you're trying to win a major, you can't have that attitude. Can't.
Nope.
Can't.
Unless you're Sergio and you finally get one, 20 years into your career.
That's where Will Zalatoris is just like, he just impresses me so much.
I was so impressed with the attitude. I love the fire on 18 when that putt fell. That was cool. And just the fact that, the way he was hitting the ball was like he was 6 over, and then you look up on 18T and he's got to make par to get into a playoff. It was really, really impressive to see him kind of hang in there.
Yep. It was on 6, knocks it in the shit. He has to take his drop there on the cart pass, sitting down. Okay, no problem. Gets it up and down. Like, yeah, he just got it, man. He's got good vibes. Love it. Hey, I'm cheering for him. Man, it's getting thin, folks. I gave you a 130, but I'm not sure I can go past that. I'm just not sure. I mean, you could, all right, Bryson at 100, that's just like, you got to almost just try it, right?
Yeah, I don't discourage that ever, because that's the type of bettor I am. So I'm not going to tell you not to do that.
All right, man. Well, that was good. I mean, that was we went right through this field. Nice field this week.
Good field.
Yeah, nice field this week. Man, we only got 3 events before the U.S. Open. This is a quick turnaround. Does Tiger make the turnaround, you think? I mean, he looked going to be tough, isn't it?
Going to be pretty tough. I would think Brookline. I have never been to Brookline. Obviously, a little bit flatter, maybe an easier walk than Augusta and Southern Hills. But I don't know. I don't know about these PGAs and U.S. Opens on Tiger's body going forward. I'd like to see him. We did a little video here at the beginning of the year, kind of what we'd like to see from Tiger the rest of his career. Obviously, he's always going to play Augusta. He knows the place so well, he can still get it around. But I'd like to just see him play the Open Championship the rest of his career. That's the old man major. The old guys can kind of still hack it in that one. So I'd like to see him kind of just put all his focus into that one for the rest of his career. But as no, he's not going to do that.
It feels like he's going to miss the U.S. Open to me, though, this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. It is a quick turnaround here.
Feels like the Open's the next one. I hope it is. I don't want him to be at 85% at the U.S. I think we're just looking for some. I think now for him, he's probably just looking for some stamina now. Where it's okay. I feel great going in, and then I still feel pretty good on Saturday. Those quick turnaround times, those cooler conditions don't help. So, but that's where he's at. But I think it sounds like there's still room to go for the leg to get stronger and stamina and all that. So that's always, the optimistic look for him. All right, man. Christopher Powers at CPowers14 on Twitter.
Correct.
All right. Good stuff. Stripe Show podcast. Don't miss tomorrow.
I won't.
Yeah, you're gonna want to tune in to that one. See you then.